Hare Krishna, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue reading from Caitaniya Caritamita, Adi Leela, chapter 9, text 51. E malakar khaya, e pramafala, prema phala, niravadi mata rahe, vishwa vihvala. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The great gardener, Lord Chaitanya, personally eats this fruit, and as a result, he constantly remains mad, as if helpless and bewildered. So Lord Chaitanya, he's the gardener of the tree of love of Krishna. And he said he's become the tree also of love of Krishna. And what is he doing? He's also personally eating this fruit, prema phala, fruit of love of Godhead. And by eating this fruit, what has he become? He's become mad. Now we may say, if I have to become, we may get worried or scared. Oh my God, if I eat love of this fruit of love of God, I'm going to become mad too. I'm going to become, what is that, helpless, and I'm going to be bewildered. I don't want all these things. But we have to understand that this is all transcendental, spiritual. In the material sense, mad, bewildering, helplessness, these are not good ones. But in the spiritual, when you're mad in love of God, so the heart is completely full in love of Krishna. That is the original position of every living entity. Every living entity has this love of Krishna in our heart. It is the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to act himself and teach the people. He says, Apani Achari Bhakti Karila Prachar. Caitanya Caritamita Adi Leela, chapter 4, text 41. One must first act himself and then teach. So teaching by example. Lord Chaitanya, he says we should become an acharya. Acharya teaches by example, that we behave properly and teach others how to behave. So Lord Chaitanya is showing us personally how to revive our love of Krishna, how to be situated on the platform of love of Krishna. It's like the teacher, she takes our hands and then she makes us write A, B, C. She's showing us how to write. It's not that she's learning. It's not that she doesn't know her ABCs. She knows. She's just doing it for our benefit. So this is Lord Chaitanya. He's teaching us himself. This is the function of a real teacher. Unless one is able to understand the philosophy that he speaks, it will not be effective. Therefore, one should not only understand the philosophy of the Chaitanya cult, but also implement it practically in one's life. So this philosophy of Krishna consciousness is not just a theory, it's not just a philosophy that we hear and it sounds good. No, it has to be practically applied. And when we practically apply it, when we follow it, we will see the result because it is a science. Science means practical application of knowledge. So what we are hearing, what we are studying, when we practically apply it, we will be able to see the result, experience the result. While chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes fainted and remained unconscious for many hours. He prays in a Shikshashtaka, verse 7, Yugyaitam Namashena Chakshusha Pramashyaitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. So the Shikshastakam are the 8 verses which are left behind by Lord Chaitanya, in which he begins with that all glories to the Sankirtana movement. He says, And then he tells us what is the result of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And then he's telling us what's the mood we should chant in. And then how the consciousness develops. And we can come to this stage. This is the gopis are on, this is the feeling of the gopis. They would blink their eyes for a moment and they wouldn't like that. Why? Because it stops the vision of seeing Krishna. And so then they blame Brahma. Oh, Brahma, he is foolish. He does not know how to create. Why? Because he's created eyelids. So what's the problem? Oh, when the eyelid shuts, we cannot see Krishna for that moment. So this is the position of every living entity, that we have so much love for Krishna that a moment is like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from the eyes. So in the material world, tears, we may say tears are full, means suffering. But we know when our heart is full of joy also, there are tears in our heart. When we are really, really very happy, that's such a great thing. Also we cry. This is the spiritual bliss that the devotee is feeling. This is the perfectional stage of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and eating the fruit of love of Godhead as exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is not that the devotee is suffering, but the devotee is feeling the highest bliss, and that bliss is being transformed as tears and flowing from the eyes. So one should not artificially imitate this stage. So we may hear, oh, this is a good stage. This means somebody is very advanced. Let me pretend I'm there so that people will think I'm so great. But we should not artificially imitate. You don't need to imitate this. But if one is serious and sincerely follows the regulative principles and chants the Hare Krishna mantra, the time will come when these symptoms will appear. We don't bother. Tears are there, tears are not there. We simply hear and chant. Continue hearing and chanting. Follow the four regulative principles. And then tears will fill his eyes. He will be unable to chant the Mahamantra distinctly, and his heart will throb in ecstasy. So Prabhupada is saying that we just sincerely chant. We sincerely follow the regulative principles. That's what we do. And we leave the rest. The tears will come one day. We don't bother too much with it. That's not the goal. We have to practice. We are doing sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, devotional service in practice. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that one should not imitate this, but a devotee should long for the day to come when such symptoms of trance will automatically appear in his body. So instead of thinking that I'm already on this stage, in our heart, we should feel that, oh, let me try to chant properly. Let me try to follow the principles properly so that one day or the other I can come to this platform of tears in the eyes. Sarvaloke mata kaila apana samana preme mata loka vinana hi dekhiyana. With his Sankirtana movement, the Lord made everyone mad like himself. We do not find anyone who was not intoxicated by his Sankirtana movement. So the Lord Chaitanya, he drowned everyone in love of Krishna. He himself is swimming in the love of Krishna and he's drowning everyone in love of Krishna. So we have to understand that, again, this is a spiritual platform. It is not material. It is not or intoxicated by Sankirtana movement. It's not that it's artificially induced by some alcohol or something. No, this is coming from the pure love of the heart. The heart is so full of love, so soft, and the heart is melting. It's coming as tears. The heart is soft and being bewildered and maddened. It's a spiritual platform. It does not mean that once we attain our spiritual platform, there is nothing there. No, the spirit soul, there is this emotions. Bhava, Krishna is called Ras Bihari. He knows how to enjoy all these rasas. So on the spiritual platform is the real emotion is there on the spiritual platform. The real ras is there on the spiritual platform. In the material world, it's only a perverted reflection. Ye purve ninda kaila bali mato yala seho phala khaya nache bale bhala bhal. Persons who had formerly criticized Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, calling him a drunkard, also ate the fruit and began to dance, saying, "Very good, very good." When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtana movement, even he was unnecessarily criticized by Mayavadis, atheists, and fools. Naturally, we are also criticized by such men. They will always remain and will always criticize anything that is actually good for human society. But the preachers of the Sankirtana movement should not be deterred by such criticism. Our method should be to convert such fools gradually by asking them to come and take prasadam and chant and dance with us. This should be our policy. Anyone who comes to join us, of course, must be sincere and serious regarding spiritual advancement in life. Then such a person, simply by joining us, chanting with us, dancing with us, and taking prasadam with us, will gradually also come to say that this movement is very good. But one who joins with an ulterior purpose to get material benefit or personal gratification will never be able to grasp the philosophy of this movement. So Prabhupada is saying Lord Chaitanya was also criticized initially, but the very people who criticized him, once they started chanting, they also got this fruit of love of Krishna. They also became joyous and happy. So, similarly, we may face some criticism. We simply invite people to dance, chant, have prasadam with us. Gradually, everyone's heart will be inundated with love of Krishna because it is not artificial. It is there in everyone's heart. We simply have to revive it, provided there is sincerity, there is no ulterior purpose. There's no that exploitative uh, reason. So we continue to hear and chant, and if possible, we try to engage others in hearing and chanting. Any questions or comments or anything to add? No, we'll stop here for today. Caitanya Caritamita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.